can see from there. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this quickly so that it doesn't go on too long. We have 3 models that we're going to use to identify the structures of the integumentary system. So first, let's look at the layers. Identify this layer from here all the way to the top. Epidermis. This layer from here all the way to here is the dermis, and not part of the integumentary system, but right underneath is this layer of hypodermis or subcutaneous tissue layer or a superficial fascia. Okay, then in the epidermis, we have 5 sublayers. Identify this sublayer in dark blue. That's the stratum basale. And then right here, where we see these spines, and all of this right here would be the stratum spinosum. And then in this model, it's a little bit hard to see, but I think I don't think they don't have the stratum. So this layer right here is intended to be the stratum granulosum. And then this is supposed to be the stratum lucidum, but it's not very, as you can tell, not very thick skin, but this is intended to be their stratum lucidum, and this is supposed to be the stratum corneum. This is a sudoriferous gland, sweat gland in 3D. Here it is cut. Remember that these are groups of circles with lumens in the middle, because it's a coiled tube. These would be stratified cuboidal cells. In your microscopes, when you look for these stratified, for these sudoriferous glands, remember, you're going to come all the way down here into the dermis. You're going to look for groups of circles like you see right here with lumens in the middle to find your glandular or stratified cuboidal tissue, your sudoriferous gland. Okay. This right here is a what? Would it identify the structure in purple? Can you recognize it from here? No. Okay, maybe this is good. We're going over there. This is a sebaceous gland in 3D, and this over here is a sebaceous gland, but it's cut. Here you see it in 3D, and then here they've cut it into it. Remember that these are made up of cells that do not stain well in the microscope, and they can be associated here with a hair. Usually we'll identify them associated with a hair. Does anybody recognize this structure? A rector pili, always found at this 45-degree angle to the hair. Okay, and then right here, if we take a section, here's the hair in 3D, here's the hair cut, so we can see more detail. And here, this little piece of hair that's sticking out, and up to about right here, from here on out, would be the hair shaft. From here, all the way to about right here would be the hair root. This little nipple-shaped mound, you can see it a little bit better on this one, would be the hair papilla. These cells right above that, or superficial to that, are the hair matrix. What does the red represent? An artery, the blue, a vein. And there's also nerves that go in that area. So again, this is the hair root, this would be the hair matrix, this would be the hair papilla. The hair papilla contains an artery, vein, and a nerve. Can you see this bulging region right here? And this bulging region right here, what is that called? The hair bulb. And then if you look closely, you can also see this blue, purple, and kind of peach-colored layers. Those, all 3 of those together make up the hair follicle. The hair follicle protects the hair. This whole thing is not the hair follicle, no. The hair follicle is this blue, purple, and reddish colored layers, all together, okay? You can see them also on this side right here. And then, yes, sebaceous gland. All right, can you guys identify this structure right here? Get a little bit closer on that. Identify the structure right here. Would be the tactile corpuscle, or also called the Meissner's corpuscle. Can you see these yellow structures? What are those? Free nerve endings. Free nerve endings. Identify these structures. These are the lamellated corpuscles, or also called Pacinian. These are sensitive to deep pressure. These are sensitive to light touch or light pressure. Free nerve endings are sensitive to pain, cold, pain and cold. And then here we just see arteries and veins in the connective, but not over here in the stratified squamous. If I ask you what kind of tissue is this from here to here, stratified squamous. If I ask you what's the layer from here to here, epidermis. If I say what's the sublayer, stratum spinosum. All right, I feel, can you stop there for a second, please? Again, this is our second of our 3 models. They each show something different. This model is trying to show in this area right here, that thick skin. So you can see the stratum corneum is a lot thicker. And then here, they're just trying to peel off sublayer by sublayer so that you can see these nipple-shaped structures that are called dermal papillae. Remember, the dermal papillae push the epidermis into those epidermal ridges, all right? So if I ask you, identify this layer from here to here, that would be the, please everybody, that's not videotaping, epidermis. Identify the tissue from here to here. Stratified squamous, keratinized. Identify this sublayer right there, stratum basale. Nicely in light purple is the stratum spinosum, and then over here in is the stratum what? Granulosum in that light beige color, lucidum, and this one stratum corneum. Very good. And then over here, all right, and then over here, identify this structure in 3D. Sebaceous gland. Right here, it's cut, sebaceous gland. What layer is this from here to here? Dermis. What sublayer is this right here, right here, right here? The papillary sublayer. What sublayer is all of this right here? That is the reticular sublayer of the dermis. What tissue is the papillary sublayer of the dermis made up of? Areolar connective tissue. What tissue is the reticular sublayer of the dermis made up of? Dense irregular. Identify this structure right here in 3D. Pseudoriferous gland. And what's this? Sebaceous gland. And this? Pseudoriferous. And this? Sebaceous. And this structure right here? Erector pili, and here it is in 3D. Erector pili. The red structures? Arteries. The blue structures? The yellow structures. Free nerve endings. What about, what's this free nerve ending but that's wrapped by connective tissue called? A tactile corpuscle, also called Meissner's corpuscle. What is this this nerve ending right here that's wrapped by connective tissue called? Lamellated corpuscle or Pacinian corpuscle. Identify this region right here. Papillary region, the hair papilla. What are the red and blue? Arteries and veins. And then what is this entire region right here? This bulgy region. That would be the hair bulb. What should I call these cells right there? Hair matrix. And what do I call this part of the hair? This is the hair right here. And this greenish color all the way up to here. What do I call that? Hair root. And then what do I call this from here to here in red? That's the hair shaft. And what do I call this green, brown, whatever, these 3 colors right here all together? Hair follicle. Very good. And I think, what is this layer that's right underneath the skin? And right here, what is this trying to show? Hypodermis, or subcutaneous layer, or superficial fascia. All right? And what are these right here coming up into this epidermis? What are these supposed to be? Free nerve endings. Good. Remember said that. All right? Let's stop. Okay. So here's our third model. Our third model is trying to show also different things. First of all, from here, this is trying to show thick skin right here, and this is trying to show thin skin, just one right next to each other so you can compare. Identify this layer from here to here. Epidermis, sublayer in dark purple, stratum basale. Sublayer, stratum spinosum. All of this right here. All of that right there. In dark purple, sublayer, stratum granulosum, and then in white, stratum lucidum, and then see all of that right there? Stratum corneum. All of that is stratified squamous keratinized. These are the killed cells, right? As they're going to the top. Notice in this thin layer, do you see the stratum lucidum? No, there's only 4 sublayers: the basale, the spinosum, the granulosum, and the corneum. Identify this structure over here in 3D. Pseudoriferous gland and cut. Pseudoriferous gland. Over here, pseudoriferous gland. All right, and then identify this layer from here all the way to here. Dermis, just this sublayer right here. That would be the papillary sublayer, and all of this sublayer, reticular sublayer. Structures in black, free nerve endings. This structure right here, tactile corpuscle or Meissner's corpuscle. Structure, let's see, can you see that? Yeah, lamellated corpuscle or Pacinian corpuscle. This is trying to show a pseudoriferous gland, an apocrine one, but it's a horrible, just pseudoriferous gland is good. This is supposed to be an acrine versus an apocrine, but this should be going to a hair follicle, so I don't know why it's going out there to the surface, so let's just ignore that. And this over here is the erector pili, and this is the sebaceous gland in 3D. Sebaceous gland cut. Identify this structure from here to here. Hair shaft from here to here. Hair root, this region right here. Hair matrix, where the new cells are dividing, growing and pushing up. This structure. Hair papilla. This entire structure. Hair bulb. And then on this model, the light pink, purple, and kind of reddish color, all of that right there is the hair follicle. Good. And then in red in this model, artery, in blue, veins. And that's what these red and blue are, just showing cut arteries and veins in cross section. And then I think we said this was the erector pili, and this is the hypodermis or subcutaneous or superficial fascia. Am I forgetting? I think that's it, guys. That's it for that. Oh, listen. And I'm going to turn on one light. Is that going to work out for videotaping, or do you need one light on? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right. So, starting again, I have this slide. We're going to look at 2 slides when we're looking at the skin. One that says stratified squamous keratinized, and one that says skin cornified. This is the one that says stratified squamous keratinized. So right away, what I see here at this low power is the layers of the epidermis, and then and the layers of the dermis. I'm going to move it to medium power right here using my nose piece, and I can see a little bit better the epidermis from here all the way up. This is going to be our dermis. Get that into focus. Then one more power up. Now, and this is just what we call an artifact. That means when the person that put it on the slide, they didn't put it nice and perfect, and that's where there's that space. Can you guys, even at this medium power, find the stratum lucidum for me? Can you see it in here? It's right above the stratum granulosum. It's beautiful in this slide right here. Can you see this kind of grayish color? That's going to be our stratum lucidum. So now, if I turn it up to the very highest power, I'm focusing on that stratified. There we go. Here's a good spot right here. We can see all of our sublayers. So, on this slide, first you need to identify from here to here is what layer? Epidermis. These cells right here are stratum basale. All of this right here is stratum spinosum. Can you see right here these cells with the granules? Everybody, yes? That's the stratum granulosum. Identify this sublayer, stratum lucidum, and then from there to there is stratum corneum. You see the cells at the top are killed, no nucleus, so the stratified squamous. Then right here, this is going to be the papillary sublayer, and this is where we're going to find right here our, you can even kind of see one right there, our tactile corpuscles. So this is the papillary sublayer, and then if I go a little bit deeper, then I'll get down into the dermis. What kind of tissue is the dermis down here? It is the stratified what? I'm sorry, it's the dense what? Dense irregular. And then down here, while you're down in this region, we're going to look for various structures. These are blood vessels. When you see round structures with a big, huge lumen with simple squamous, those are going to be blood vessels that you're looking at. Then you're going to make your way all the way down here to the bottom. See that dense irregular? This is a big, huge vein. There's a huge vein right there. That big, huge lumen in the middle. Now I'm going to switch it back to medium, and I'm going to look for my pseudoriferous gland. And to find that, I'm going to look for groups of circles with lumens in the middle. So I see circles with a big, huge lumen. There's a group of circles, but let me see if I can find a little bit better. Kind of like up here. So see right here where I see these groups of circles with the tiny little lumen in them? That's going to be my pseudoriferous gland. So now that I found it, I'm going to move up, back up to high power. It should be made up of what kind of tissue? Stratified what? Cuboidal. Can you see the stratified cuboidal with the lumen? Stratified, here's the lumen. This is kind of a long piece right here. This is not the best example. Okay, I'll show you another better example. All right, and then if I come back down here to medium power, I'm going to go in this stratified squamous slide. You go all the way to the edge, all the way to the edge. More and more, there's some more. What are those right there? Even at this medium power, what are these? This and this. Those are going to be pseudoriferous glands. And then over here, in this region, and at the bottom, beautiful. Can anybody recognize that structure? This is going to be a lamellated corpuscle. See the onion rings right there? These are nerves, and this is an artery right there. But this is the lamina. Okay, let's stop there. Okay, so now I'm looking at the slide that says hair scalp. And so what I see right here is, again, my skin, but now embedded in there is this hair that you can see nicely in this region. So from here to here would be the hair shaft. From here to here would be the hair root. And then if I come down here to the very bottom, hair root all the way to over here, what would this be? Hair matrix, this structure. Hair papilla, what's all of this purple and pink? Hair follicle. What kind of tissue is this? This is what kind of tissue? Adipose tissue. Down there, I see some adipose tissue. Then if I come back up to this region right here, I can see in a hair follicle that's kind of gone. Can you guys see this structure right there? And this structure right here, just by the angle of it, what is that? That would be an erector pili. And then can anybody tell me what these structures are on the side of this hair? Let me get to this is low power that I'm looking at. So now I'm going to move a little bit higher power. And can anybody tell me what this is right here? Doesn't stain very well. Sebaceous gland. And here you can see the hair follicle a little bit on that side. And then does everybody recognize right here, the hills and valleys? This would be the epidermis, the rest would be dermis. Everybody recognize that? These are artifacts. Just they didn't do a good job of on this slide. Okay, so let's stop for a sec. So here's another hair scalp slide. We can see the hair hasn't quite emerged yet out of that hair follicle. But what I wanted to show you, and you can see the hills and valleys of the epidermis. This is the dermis. What is this structure right here? That's erector pili. What are all of these right here? Sebaceous glands. And then can you see right here, this group of circles with the lumen? That should be a what? Sweat gland. So if we go to medium power, we should be able to see that tissue and that sweat gland a little bit better. I think it's on this side, yeah, right here. So there's a huge sweat gland that you can see at that power, at this power. And on the side. So the adipose tissue, I'm sorry, you lost it. So whenever you lose something, just go back on lower power. This is this right here, these are all stratified cuboidal or glandular cells, and this is making up our sweat gland. Not that, again, I don't know why I'm not finding good examples in our slides. You can see a nice lumen and the stratified cuboidal on either side. Those groups of circles are there. Any questions, anybody on that? Ready? Can somebody check the checklist?